I mean, we've been looking at the whole digital transformation for last 2 decades, but lately we are seeing, everybody's talking about CX transformation in the last 4 to 5 years. So, what, according to you, is the biggest challenge in CX transformation?
Well, I think, one of my colleagues loves the iceberg metaphor where, 90% of the effort goes below the waterline of the iceberg and
Hmm.
you don't get to see it. Um, and I think that's the challenge. It's not necessarily the design, but it's the back end data, the back end systems. I think in the last decade of digital transformation, for many people, that's really been the journey to cloud and it's moving data centers. To begin with, kind of lifting and shifting of those things, and now kind of reinventing on the cloud and modernizing architecture. In digital transformation, we've gone through digitization, which is just taking
Hmm.
analog things and making them digital, to true like digital transformation, which is not copying and cloning what went before, but making it better and reimagining. And I think that's where the challenge in a lot of digital transformation programs is that not enough effort has been given into CX redesign. It's still about cloud because that's where the cost is, and that's
Hmm.
where the business case is justified from. Sometimes the CX part is just an afterthought or it's not central to this. So yeah, I think that sometimes it's about priorities in the business case, and it's all about the things you don't see under the waterline around
Right.
digital transformation, not necessarily the thing that's most visible to consumers.
And is it also because there's no clarity around where does CX sit inside the organization? Is it the CMO who's looking into it? Because typically, historically, CX has been looked after by the CMO, where we're looking at awareness, reaching out to people. But now, if you look at the chief technical officer, also plays a key role because it's the tech which is enabling most of the
Yeah,
innovations in CX.
yeah.
Or,
It's taken. We've had a CMTOU, so Chief Marketing Technology Officer, that
yeah,
represents that Venn diagram coming together, and my colleague Sheldon invented that a long time ago, well ahead of the
yeah,
market trends. Um, yeah, I think that the reality is the experience is part of the brand, should be controlled by marketing. That's and we're seeing more and more CMOs having responsibility for the experience. A lot of banks, the marketing team generate traffic to the website. The digital team manage the non-logged in state, and the
hmm,
IT team manage the authenticated logged in state. That's a terrible state of affairs because you've got two different handovers or handoffs, and you've got three different teams pulling in three different directions. You've got to have this.
right,
If you want the seamless thing you were talking about earlier, you need one central point of failure or one central point of control that manages the end-to-end experience. Because as a consumer, I see your ad, I click on your ad, or I'm in my app, or I go to your website, or I'm checking out my checking account in a logged in state. I see you as one bank. I don't see you as three different teams doing different. Oh, I understand why this
yeah,
doesn't connect. If I start a loan application on my app, I expect to call a call center and continue that same loan application. You should know how far I've got, where I got stuck, and how you can help
right,
me to do that. But even that sometimes today is really difficult for businesses because they still have a product and a channel mentality rather than a customer mentality. And it's only through putting the customer at the center can you kind of start to see the matrix of, oh, it's our own internal organizational structure is getting in the way of giving customers value. We always talk about customer value, but that means the value to us. But what's valuable to a customer? That's probably a more difficult but more rewarding question to answer. Just next best action. Is another. Oh, we got a next best action model, and it's again, well, what's the best action for me as a brand versus
hmm,
what's the next best action for the consumer? And again, if we can reorientate our questions and our thinking around what's valuable to a customer is going to give us more of their business. If we just keep chasing the money, what's the incentive for the customer to give us more business? So I think by bringing this all together, you give yourself a much better chance to understand what's important in the customer's life and then figure out how can we bring that value to them rather than saying, oh, Arjun, you're a good customer, therefore I want to get more money out of you. That feels the wrong way round to me.